This is Valerie VanBooven with the Senior Care Industry Netcast, where leaders with 3 or more years of experience in the senior care market share their advice. So with that, let's get to it. In a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Excellent. Hi, everyone. My name is Kelly Rogers. Right now, I currently work for a company you might have heard of, American Advisors Group, known as AAG. You've probably seen those Tom Selleck commercials on TV. We specialize in being the nation's leader for home equity solutions for seniors, but we also work with VAs. It doesn't matter your age. A lot of people think it's just reverse, but it's not. We want to make sure that we're looking at all home equity options for everybody. We just happen to specialize in doing it with seniors. So excited to be there. Background though is 28 years ago, my mother and I started a company called Respect Your Elders. And I got hooked into the gerontology program. So I'll give up my age here. That was back in 1992, so about 28 years ago. I did start off in the gerontology field, and it was a company, Respect Your Elders, where we referred services. Most families are just in a quandrum when they're being discharged and don't really know what to do, where to go. They maybe had services, but they don't know until it's time to use it. And so what we did is we just came up with, whether it was facility placement or in-home care, or you needed an elder law attorney, you needed support groups, Alzheimer's Aid Society, associations, so forth. So I loved being able to research all of these different services that are out there for seniors that I had no idea about, and trying to be like this little hub in my little area out here to help people with the right resources they need. And then now eventually went into more of the financial aspect of helping seniors.
Yeah, we always could use resources. And I'm sure still today, if somebody needs a resource, you probably know where to turn. And you're not dating yourself in this audience, because I graduated from nursing school in 1992. So I'm right there with you.
92, all right.
I know exactly what you're talking about. So yeah, and that just makes us wiser and smarter about all of this stuff.
Yeah. That's right.
And by now, we've both probably experienced, our parents are getting older. And so, yeah, and the beat goes on. So,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. So I know I have limited knowledge about, and I know you have, there's technical terms, I call them reverse mortgages. I know you do all kinds of equity. Yeah. But to me, I have witnessed those be a saving grace for clients who needed to do something really expensive to their house in order to stay there, or like maybe a huge repair, like a foundation, a complete, like here in the Midwest, we have basements because we live in Tornado Alley. And so we have basements so we can go hide. So foundations tend to crack and crumble over the years and give out. So having a foundation reinforced or stop it from leaking can cost $30,000 easily.
Easy.
It's amazing how much stuff costs. And so for a senior on a fixed income, even if their house is paid off, that's a lot of dough, they don't, so, and if they don't want to make payments on that, and they really aren't going to give the house to their, the heirs don't really want the house. So it makes sense to, and I've a couple of instances of this where a reverse mortgage made a whole lot of sense to just pay for that. And then, when they're done with the house and they move on, then the house is sold and that's it. Reverse mortgage is paid off. So I know there's a million different examples of how this can work for people. And you're welcome to expand on that. But I'm going to ask you the next question, which is, what is the best thing about serving aging adults? And you're welcome to throw in there how this all works or whatever.
You bet. Actually, my ultimate favorite thing of working with older adults, I love to hear their stories. I know this might sound simple or cliche, but it really is the number one thing. I'm all about moving forward and growth and evolving and so forth, but that won't exist if we don't take some time and learn from the past and learn from those that, learned what was working, what wasn't working. I just think they have so much knowledge, boy, they are the ones that have gone to war for us. They are the ones that have gotten us the rights that we have. So I love hearing their stories. That's what gets me in my heart And then all that does is make me want to help them, even more in any way possible that I can, whether it's helping them with Meals on Wheels, whether it's helping them with a reverse mortgage. That is the slang word. Basically, the difference is a reverse mortgage is a non-government insured mortgage.
Mhm.
A home equity conversion mortgage, a HECM, that's the technical term. That's a reverse
Yes.
mortgage that's insured by FHA. So really there's not a big difference just on who's insuring it.
Mhm.
And that insurance is protection to the heirs, the estate, the owner. No negative debt can transfer, basically. And that's probably one of the biggest misconceptions with the reverse or the HECM is that the bank owns it. And that's definitely not true. The title stays the same. It works just like a regular loan. I just did a refinance. It's just a lien. It's the exact same thing. It's just you have options on if you want to pay it or not. The only thing you have to do is keep up on your homeowner's insurance and property taxes. And Valerie, you'd be surprised. A lot of people do it for big expenses. A lot of people do it because they can't afford these inflating property taxes and homeowners insurance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So sometimes they're just doing it to
Crazy.
pay for the maintenance, on the home, so they don't have to worry about that and pull from other funds and assets that they weren't planning on doing, so that they can stay at home, let alone the repairs that need to be done, especially when we want to age at home, which is what we want. If we can afford it, we would all pretty much raise our hands and say, yes, I would prefer to stay at home and have in-home care and home health, hospice, and that's what we did for my Nana. That's what got me into reverse mortgage. What switched me from being a gerontologist and a specialist of helping seniors with their care and their services was my Nana was in a situation where she got cancer. Flavio, her husband, was about 15 years older. He was the only income provider. We knew when he passed, Nana would have no money. So this is what taught me to go, okay, go look at what this reverse mortgage stuff is. Because I thought, the bank owned it. They can take it when they want it. You're stealing homes from little old ladies. I thought all that stuff, or it's going to pass all this debt on to me, the heir. I thought all of that until I called and did some research. And as soon as I found out none of that was true, we did do it. We did the line of credit option for my Nana. So that way, if she needed more care that month or needed more services or more medical equipment or something like that, the insurance wouldn't cover, we had this big line of credit we can pull from where it wasn't taken out of my pocket, and Nana still had pride that she was covering and paying for her own care at home. So that's what got me in this industry to switch over.
And I think usually it is a personal experience. And it was my husband's mother, my mother-in-law. She is now in a skilled facility, but she was at some point, that's who used the reverse mortgage proceeds. So she could stay in her home longer, because if she didn't have that, she was on a fixed income. So to pay back a loan that was $30,000 over however many years she could get a loan for was going to be a lot of money out of her pocket every month just to be able to stay in that house because the foundation needed to be fixed. I mean, those are the kinds of things you don't think about, and you certainly don't think they're going to cost that much to be fixed. Or care. Home care is going to cost, if it depends on how long you need it and how much care you need, but that's not a simple expense at all. That's a very, very, it can be heavy. So if you're wanting to stay at home, it's a great way to pay for those things. You have to make sure your whole family understands what you're doing, how it works, and why you're doing it this way. I think that, to me, that was the biggest part of the whole thing, is making sure that all the brothers and sisters understood that, what was going to happen when she passed away, what was going to happen when she went to the nursing home. Did anybody want the house? Did anybody want to put up the money to do this instead of her, and then have the house after she was done living in it? And if the answer was no, then we didn't have a whole lot of other options. So let's move forward and get her what she wants so she can stay here. So, you just have to have those conversations. No matter whatever way you go, when you take out a loan and you're an older person, the prospect of having to pay that back every month can be daunting. And if you can do it in a way where you don't have to make those payments right now, I think that's beautiful. It's an absolutely beautiful way to do it. So
yeah, and you hit the spot on the head. It's all about education and communication. Yes. And that's what it really is all about. We get in with the financial planners. We work with very wealthy and affluent individuals as well that don't have an immediate need. But this pandemic's the perfect example, you know, when the stock market crashed and people lost their pensions, even the other year, you know, my father lost all their stuff as well. So in these catastrophes, even wealthy individuals that have millions of dollars are choosing to look at this option with us. And we have financial planners on board as well, if anybody ever needs that service. But we work directly with your financial planners as well in regards to how to protect other assets and portfolios, because that's usually what the heirs want to inherit anyhow, not typically the house.
Sure.
So, and it's just having it there for that safety cushion, right? Whether it's someone in an immediate need or whether it's someone who's just planning, you know, for the future ahead of time and wants to have an extra pot to pull from when it's like a down market and you want to preserve that and leave that alone, you know, and then you can use it temporarily. And then once the market recovers and you're not selling for pennies on the dollar, you can sell and make a profit, you know, to pull from there. So there's really some cool strategic ways. Fits the whole gamut from people living paycheck to paycheck to people that have millions, because you're right, especially when long-term care hits, that's going to deplete because it's typically private pay, right, Valerie?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
The misconception or if you haven't ever been in this industry, which almost everybody that, you know, I talk to understands this, but for consumers out there who don't understand that, if you want an amazing assisted living facility and an amazing nursing home, and you want all the best and the private duty home care, and you want them coming in, Medicare doesn't pay for any of that. That is not how it works. Medicare pays for short-term rehabilitative stays only. It is not going to pay for all of your care for the rest of your life. It's not how it works today. Yeah. It has changed a little bit over the last couple of years to provide some short-term respite in certain cases, but it's still not enough, and it still certainly isn't going to pay for someone who has something like Alzheimer's disease. You could be around for a very many years with Alzheimer's disease. And if you want your parent or they want to be in the best facility ever, that's great. We all want to be in the best facility ever, but somebody's going to have to pay for that. So, and it goes fast. I mean, if you're in Northern California, right?
Oh yeah.
So it goes way faster than it even goes here. And here it's expensive. So yeah, so absolutely. There's all kinds of different reasons why somebody might do this. But certainly it can be a lifesaver for those who really want to stay at home.
Yeah, it's not for everybody, not for everybody, not at all. Sometimes the VA loan is going to be a whole lot better. Sometimes no loan will be better and be the advice, but educate yourself and connect, right? And communication.
Yes. Understand the reality versus the rumor and the misinformation that's out there. And these have been around for a really long time, and they're so highly regulated that, just amazingly highly regulated. And if you've been around a while, you know how that is. So it's not like, any willy-nilly person can just go do this. I mean, there's so much criteria you have to meet in order to be able to do it. And it all has to be, authorized a million times over. And so it's not like somebody can just do this off the cuff. It's definitely a process that's, it's definitely highly regulated by the government.
Oh yeah, HUD and FHA have definitely increased all the protections for the borrower.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, tell me what other successful leaders or organizations or people in your life, maybe it's your Nana, maybe it's your mom and dad, who has made an impact on you with regard to the profession that you're in now, and who would you like to talk about?
Gosh, I'd have to say the professor, Dr. Barbara Gologly, over here at the American River College. They called her the Hook. When I went to college, I was going in for social work to work with children and child development. That was where I thought my heart really was sending me. And then my mom started this Respect Your Elders company, and she went, hey, go take a few of these gerontology classes. I heard about this Dr. Barbara Gologly. And I went. Now I know why they call her the Hook. You could be going in for one thing, and as soon as you start taking a class with her, Valerie, it was like finally a topic that just kind of really I connected with mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's almost like it was a natural topic somehow out of nowhere. And I completely changed all my psychology, sociology, and everything from child development. I switched and went full throttle into gerontology until I got my certificate in it. So big kudos to Dr. Barbara Gologly.
The Hook.
The Hook.
Very
Obviously,
nice.
my mother, I wouldn't be in this industry without my mother, and my Nana. I would have never educated myself on this option if it wasn't for her. And then, I'll have to say, the caregivers out there, you guys are absolutely my heroes, 100%. You are so overworked. Whether you're a staffer or a caregiver, I'm including everybody in that, in the senior care industry. I've been there, I've done it. It's 365 days a year, 24/7. And that is why I had to get out. I needed a break. I emotionally got attached. Everybody was my grandma. Everybody was my grandpa. So I want to thank you for sticking it out and doing and providing the services that are so needed. And I know that our caregivers are being overworked. I know the agencies and everybody are being overworked, and I just want to thank you so much for doing what you do. I know a lot of these agencies have people where the borrower owes over $10,000. They're still providing care and services out of the kindness of their heart. So I want to give big shouts out to Amada and Senior Helpers. We work with them on a corporate level, and we come in and we have those financial discussions. We don't want you to. You're the caregiver, you're the professional care providers. You need to work on the care plan and working with hospice and in-home care and the dietitian and everything else to get the right care plan going. We will take on those embarrassing, vulnerable conversations when it comes to finances. That's what we're licensed to do and professionals in doing. And what I found is if we can bring all that together, we can fill all those private pay gaps, and we can provide the care, the services, whether it's in-home care, whether it's coming in and retrofitting the home so it's safely. So it's just all about that teamwork, and just a huge appreciation to our caregivers out there.
Yeah, well, thank you for saying that. And I know that especially right now, everybody's scared about everything everywhere. So
Yeah.
it's hard to walk into a house. It's hard to have somebody coming into your house. Nobody wants to go to a facility right now. So our caregivers are really our heroes, going to work every day, facing whatever challenges they face and the risks that they face, not knowing who else has been in the house, or, so it's just a huge gamut of things that caregivers, whether they're professional or family, that they face every day. So yeah, you're right. It's crazy and it's rewarding at the same time. Let's talk a little bit. You hit on something that we probably should talk about a little bit, and that is home care agencies can call you and talk to you, and they can talk to you about how to help seniors who are in their services who are running out of money. And you can probably not only guide the home care agency as to what might work and what might not work depending on their situation, but also have the conversation with the family about the realities of everything without the home care agency having to be the one sitting there talking about something they really only half understand.
100%.
So I think the partnership, and we've talked about this for a really long time. Home care agencies are always, of course, private duty home care wants private pay clients.
Yeah.
Private pay clients, there's certain limitations they might have on how much funding they think they have, and finding more funding to keep them in service can be a challenge. But if they meet certain criteria, those are gaps that you can help overcome. So I think if more home care agencies understood that, and I think if more, clients understood that there may be other solutions. There may be other financial solutions. There may not be, but it's worth exploring. I mean,
Yep.
Even you can go as far as talking about, for folks who have a lot of life insurance still, you can talk about, turning in your life insurance policy or selling your life insurance. What is it called? I don't remember. Life settlements.
Yep.
There's all kinds of options out there that we may not be familiar with. So I would encourage home care agencies to know who their professionals are in their area or wherever, so that when that time comes and they know that the credit card's starting to fail and they know that the bills are starting to get paid, longer and longer and longer out, address it sooner rather than later, and know who to turn to who might be able to come up with a solution for that family.
100%. And that's exactly what it's all about is.
Yeah.
And then we also work with, like I said, financial planners, elder law attorneys, people that need help getting on, Medi-Cal, that specialize in that, retrofitting the home, senior real estate agents, if they want to purchase, maybe a home that's right size for them, that's closer to their family and so forth. That's a huge thing going on right now. And you can actually use a reverse to purchase, where you come in with like half the amount of money and then you get to pocket the other half. and live in, you know, your new home. That's where you want to retire in without the payment as well, without spending all the cash you just made selling the previous home. So it's all about education and networking and having meaningful conversations, not just like, oh, hey, yeah, you know, when I get someone in trouble, I'll call you. We want to be proactive as well.
Mm-hmm.
We want to help before they call and cancel, before they start lowering their services. And then we also want to be there reactively as well, you know, when they do start getting behind and so forth. So, and that is where, I'm going to admit it, that is where I failed as an in-home care agency owner. That's where I failed. The only time I lost a client, Valerie, other than when they passed away, was because they ran out of private funds and they didn't know what their options were. And they moved to a nursing facility, nothing wrong with them, but prematurely moved to a nursing facility, which they didn't want to do. And the person did deteriorate and pass away at a much faster rate than what we were seeing at home. So shame on me. And congratulations and thank you to you and your audience on being open to learning, because what we have found is we're not saying we're the only solution. We're saying, let's stack them. If you've got VA benefits and attendance, let's get that. Let's stack that on top of if you have long-term care insurance. Let's stack that on top of, you know, any other, you know, annuities or life insurance that you can cash out on if that's the right option, on top of if you're a homeowner, you know, looking at home equity. When you stack all that up, what it does is it decreases all those private pay gaps that are super huge. And then people can afford the care for a longer period of time, and then more billable hours for the agency, which is how you retain your caregivers, which I know is the #1 issue still. It was the issue I had. Caregiver retention is tied to client retention and decreasing those hospital visits. So that's our goal. Yeah.
Money makes the world go round, and fortunately or unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so knowing where to turn to find those hidden gems in your own life is really a good thing to know, and in other people's lives. So this is a good option. And like you said, not for everybody, but if you know what's waiting for everybody out there and what options they have and know who to talk to, it's definitely worth the knowledge and the investigation of that to keep them where they want to be, which is at home.
Absolutely.
So, all right, let's switch gears for just a second and talk about online marketing. So I asked everybody this question: how have you been doing your marketing, since we cannot necessarily all the time? I know California's got some pretty strict rules right now. We can't really do a lot of in-person networking. I know that people are, you know, when you need to, you sit with a mask on in front of somebody across the desk or across the room or whatever you have to do. But what about online marketing? Has that helped you? Have you been doing it? What do you see there?
You know, this one will probably be kind of short and sweet. We've been such a high TV presence and online presence, especially with Mr. Tom Selleck back here as our spokesman, that I'll be honest, we're getting even more calls. We get over 50,000 inquiries every single month, Valerie. That's done nothing but increase since this pandemic and COVID. So what we want to do is we want to share that platform. We know and we hear and we talk to you guys, and we know that this is a big struggle. You've got cutbacks galore, but yet now you've got to find all this money to do all of this advertising, which is not cheap. I won't even get into what that cost is. Mm-hmm. It's not cheap. That's why we want to use ours. We have a huge platform already, and that's what we want to extend out to you. Small business owners, big business owners, nationwide, local, it doesn't matter. We have a local representative in every single state that would work with you and help use our platform, because we get tons of calls of people wanting to know, hey, I need to look at some home equity options, some loan options here to afford, you know, my long-term care. And then they don't have an in-home care agency yet, or they need to go from in-home now to medical. And we are building those relationships as well, because we want to get to know you. We want to know do you specialize in Alzheimer's? Do you specialize in healthcare? Are you just doing ADLs with in-home care? Like, we want to know what this is, because we're connecting these 50,000 people calling into us. We're connecting them to our local person that we know and trust. And we need more resources. We need to know more of you out there. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, whether they're calling because they need home modifications or they're calling because they need care, if a home care agency makes a connection with someone like you who's in their local area, you're in the Northern California area, then they'll have a resource, and that, you know, they can, you know, share resources, share leads, share, you know,
exactly.
I get all these calls, and not all of them are going to be for home care, but when they are, I got to refer them to somebody, and vice versa. I've got 5 clients who are wanted to stay home, didn't want to go to nursing home. Now they're running out of money. They own their own homes. How can you help?
Yep.
So it's a great partnership. It's a great to have those people in your pocket when you need them. For sure.
Absolutely. We actually find ourselves introducing more of our clients to, in-home care agency owners and so forth than the other way. And that is okay. We don't care what the numbers or ratios are. We don't even like saying referrals. We just like to introduce. We want to introduce you to folks. You introduce us to folks, but it does because of our high platform that we have. We typically are, right now, it is weighing a little bit heavier with us, giving more than we're receiving, but we receive anyway, because even if they don't move forward, as long as they're educated, that's all that we care about. That way they know before they call and cancel services, they know, hey, they can call me, or they can call my girl in Florida or in Texas or wherever you are, because we're nationwide, and at least explore that option before I call and cancel or cut down on services and then lose that caregiver that's like family to them, right? Yeah.
So what piece of advice would you give to other senior care providers out there?
I would just say, work together. It's not competition. If this epidemic didn't show one thing, I hope that it shows that it won't work unless we all work together. It won't work. We have to not see each other as competitors and competition. We have to see each other as comrades. We have to see each other as advocates together. And we can't truly advocate if we only stay in our lane and we only know our part. We have to care about what our clients care about. And yes, our clients definitely care about how they're going to retire better. And that's a whole gamut of things, right, Valerie?
Absolutely. Absolutely. As you can hear, the world is coming to an end downstairs. Someone must be home, or maybe it's the FedEx guy, I don't know, but the dogs have decided to interrupt our little chat.
See, I kicked everybody out of my house because I knew my dogs would be going crazy.
Well, I have some teenagers that are supposed to be monitoring this. Apparently they have failed.
That's why I kicked mine out. Wait, I got teenagers
That's
too.
right. They go, Mom's on a call. It's okay. It's all right. This happens from time to time, so nobody
Hey, I'm a big dog lover.
All right, my last question, and I'll mute myself so that you can have the floor and not the dogs. When you have a win in life or business, how do you like to celebrate?
Well, prior to COVID, right? You probably get this a lot. Prior to COVID, we would get together, company, we either fly down to the corporate office and get together and do like a celebration dinner and kind of share testimonials and stories and things, or locally up here with the branch manager up here and our team in Northern California, we get together and break some bread and have a couple drinks and a couple cheers and talk about our successes and then immediately go into what's next, right? So we like to celebrate, we take a pause, we celebrate, and then we're instantly into, okay, what's the next goal? What's the next chapter, that we want to look into on getting out there and locking arms, with all the different professionals out there and clients. We want to work with everybody, not just clients. We want to work with the business professionals as well. We believe that that's going to be key because a business professional touches so many clients. And if each, individual takes the time to learn a little bit more than just their portion or their part, and they can see how it fingers out, and it takes all of us coming together to really allow our seniors to retire better. I think that is absolutely the key, and that's always a celebration to us. So nowadays, it's to kind of celebrate with the dogs and the family. We might order a pizza, some soda or something.
Zoom calls, yeah. That's pretty much, we're kind of stuck like this for a little while, but hopefully we can see the light at the end of the tunnel now, and sometime next year we'll hopefully all be able to celebrate, at least go to dinner again together.
Right?
Super nice. Yeah.
Tired of cooking.
I don't need to go to sporting events. I don't need to go to rock concerts right now. I don't need to do any of that crazy stuff. I just would like to go to dinner with a friend. I mean,
right.
We can keep it simple. It's totally okay. But anyway, thank you for sharing that. And I would agree. It's, and I think we need to celebrate. And I think caregivers, and whether you're professional or family caregivers, take a moment and realize and celebrate the fact that you're able to do this for as long as you can, and the person you're caring for really does appreciate it, whether they can tell you that or not. Wherever stage of life they're in, I know that they appreciate it. So yeah, the little celebrations are perfectly okay right now.
That's right. Yep.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for doing the show, for being on. You're so well spoken. You've really educated us on the basics and how to work together as business professionals to help more seniors. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Valerie.